Welcome to the Ontario Soccer Centre in Vaughan. It's an absolutely gorgeous sunny Sunday at the home of Toronto FC 2 for the home opener of the 2016 season. The fans are filing in and there's an air of anticipation around the building. Toronto FC legend Dwayne Di Rosario in the house signing autographs for fans ahead of this afternoon's matchup. Hi everyone, welcome to OSC. I'm Matt Antonio, joined by Terry Dunfield. It's Toronto FC 2 taking on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in the home opener for Toronto FC 2. And Terry, the boys surely will be fired up for the first home game of the schedule this afternoon.
Yeah, they will be. There'll be a cracking atmosphere here today. The guys have worked hard through preseason to get here, and now it's time for them to perform in front of the home fans.
Two strong games on the road, and we saw one of the best players for Toronto in those two games, Raheem Edwards. A pair of goals, already matched his total from last year. What have you liked out of his game so far?
Raheem Edwards has started the season on fire. He's a great player to watch. He's very good in one-on-one situations, as we see there. Defensively, he works his tail off for the team. And yeah, again, he started the season great.
Skylar Thomas is a guy who's going to be important for Toronto on the back end, really a rock on that back line for Toronto, and a strong start to his season as well.
Skylar Thomas really is a physical specimen, as you can see. He's strong, he's powerful, he's quick. Another thing I like about him is how consistent he is. Over last season, and as we've seen already this year, for a young player, it's difficult, but he really has put in some consistent performances.
And we saw the offense for him really come on at the end of last season, and as you see there, a beautiful touch on his goal in New York in the season opener, and it looks like he's really hitting his stride offensively.
He is. He can have a real presence in the opponent's box going forward, and he's also obviously a beast defending set pieces and crosses.
Alex Bono will get the start in goal for Toronto today. It is his third appearance in as many matches for the club this season. His second year as a pro, struggled a little bit last year, but he was absolutely fantastic in that second half against Montreal and really had some key saves early in that half that set up Toronto taking the lead.
He has, Matt. He's another player that's done well with the more game time he's gotten. This is a fantastic situation, him playing in the USL, getting actual game time experience.
For the opposition today, it's the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. They've played just one game so far this season. They were snowed out last week. They were to play Harrisburg City at home. So just the one game so far. We'll get into their lack of games played in just a little bit, but they might be in tough this afternoon. Their leading scorer from a year ago, Rob Vincent, has signed a contract with DC United. Their second leading scorer was Kevin Kerr. He's the captain and an integral part of their midfield. The two of them last season combined to score 28 of the club's 53 goals. That's 53%. That's a significant number to take out of your offense in a given game, Terry.
Yeah, on paper it looks like TFC could be beating them at a good time in the season. They'll definitely be missing those two players. Pittsburgh were definitely a thorn in TFC's side last year, having beaten them 3 times.
The atmosphere in here today, as I mentioned off the top, is pretty strong, loud crowd. We see the supporters section over there waiting for the start of this match. They've made some renovations here to the building. The renovations are ongoing, but the stands look good. They've introduced a beer garden this year, so fans can enjoy a beverage while they're watching the game. Just all around an excellent environment to enjoy a soccer match.
Yeah, it looks like a fantastic environment. The atmosphere is buzzing here today. I like the changes that they've made. You can see and hear the supporters over there all together. That'll definitely get the boys going.
We see now the team's just about ready to take the pitch for Pittsburgh. As we mentioned, they a little bit shorthanded here today, but they were a thorn in the side of Toronto last year. They won the season series, sweeping all 3 games and really controlling the play against Toronto. A 5-1 win at home early in the season, and then a pair of wins here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. They were actually the opponent. The first game we ever played at this building for Toronto FC2 was a 2-0 final in favor of Pittsburgh. This is a club that is, I spoke to Dwayne Di Rosario before the game. He called it more of a man's club. The 2 teams Toronto has played already, affiliates of MLS teams in New York and Montreal. This team with a little bit more experience, what challenges does that present to a younger Toronto side?
Last season we saw that TFC did really well against the MLS affiliate clubs. They more than held their own, but at times were caught out a little bit against more experienced or veteran-heavy squads. Having said that, we've heard Jason Bent, the coach, talk about how having a season under their belt, they now know what to expect. So this will be a great test for the young TFC side.
We'll get into the lineups and a little bit more in just a bit, but first let's throw it downstairs with the national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask you to please rise and remove your hats for today's national anthems. Fans, let's all join together now in this singing of the Canadian national anthem.
The third member of our broadcast crew. Let's send it down to pitch level and Chantel Blais.
Thanks, guys. Toronto FC2 have gotten off to a strong start. 2 games on the road, and they were able to come away with points. Now they're home, and they're able to get a win in front of their home crowd for the first time. Unlike last year, if you recall, they didn't play at home till July because of facility renovations here at the OSA. If they come away with a win today, set the pace, be 3 wins and undefeated, I think they're going to set a pace that Jason Bent will be really happy with. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Chantel. Jason Bent surely is happy with the results of the first 2 matches. Might want to have 6 points in the pocket after having sort of given away the game late in New York. But certainly 4 points in 2 matches to start the season. Jason Bent will be thrilled with that result so far.
Yeah, Matt, Jason will definitely be happy with the points tally, but I think even more so will be happy with the performances. In Montreal, they were leading 1-0. They conceded late on to go 1-1. And a lot of teams away from home, especially at your rivals Montreal in the big Olympic Stadium, would settle for a point there. But this young Toronto team kept pushing forward and were able to get a winner. So we like to see an attacking team, and Jason Bent's side definitely does that, and that definitely fits his DNA, both as a coach and as a player. Jason
Bent looking sharp there in the suit here this afternoon. His counterpart on the other side is Mark Steffens for Pittsburgh. He is also in his second season at the helm of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and he led them to an 11-9-8 record last season. They were below 500 on the road, however, 5-7-2 in their matches away from Highmark Stadium. So this will be certainly a tough test for the Riverhounds. We mentioned already, playing without their captain Kevin Kerr. They are also without another one of their players who is having some visa issues. Sergio Campbell not on the trip either. Terry, your keys to the game for Toronto this afternoon.
First key is we need Raheem Edwards to continue his good form. He was fantastic in Montreal, and with scouting networks, teams will definitely have their eye on him. Can he deal with it? We've seen in both games Toronto go ahead. Can they manage a lead if they're able to do that? And number 3, they need to try and step up their game a little bit against the more veteran, savvy squads. They've done really well against the MLS affiliate teams. Can they now use the experience of having been in the league for a year to grind out results against the more senior teams?
The Toronto FC side is in the all-red kits. They'll be moving from left to right on your screen. Pittsburgh wearing all yellow with some black piping. They're moving from right to left. The captain's armbands for today, Skylar Thomas wearing it in place of Chris Manella, who is available off the bench today for Toronto FC2. And in the absence of Kevin Kerr, it looks like Mike Green, number 8 for the Riverhounds in midfield, will be wearing the armband for Pittsburgh. Toronto will possess first. Just waiting for the whistle to get things underway. There it is, we are underway. The opening whistle at the Ontario Soccer Centre in the 2016 season, and it's down in the Pittsburgh end of the field and quickly cleared out towards midfield. Skylar Thomas heads forward, headed again, and an early foul on Mike Green. That's Brian James wearing number 36 for Toronto, taken down, and Brian James looks like he's not quite sure what he wants to do initially, but now swings that wide out left to Raheem Edwards. That's Sean Hundell, the 16-year-old from the TFC Academy, making his second consecutive start this season. He's a player that's got some offensive pop, and Jason Bent said he showed well in his debut performance last week in Montreal. And he's right in the thick of things there, but collects an early foul as he was a little bit too aggressive there in against Zach Boggs.
It's a big task for Hundell. He looks like he'll be leading the line on his own up front. TFC have started off in a 4-3-3 formation, and Hundell will definitely have to hold the ball up there on his own to bring his teammates into it.
Flanking Hundell on the front line is Malik Johnson and Raheem Edwards, the 2 goal scorers from last week in Montreal. Malik Johnson, what can you say about that goal? Probably the best goal in TFC2 history, and just a fantastic individual performance on that goal.
It really was, and I know it's high credit. You'd almost describe it as Messi-like. As soon as he picked up the ball, he had one intention in his head. He broke through the Montreal defense, and what a fantastic finish. And he'd only been on the pitch minutes.
Exactly. I believe it was less than a minute after he had been subbed in, and he collected what ended up being the winning goal in that match in the first installment in 2016 of the 401 Derby. Both teams sort of just feeling each other out right now. 2 minutes in. Still scoreless at the Ontario Soccer Centre. We're glad to have you along here this afternoon. Beautiful day, clear skies, bright blue sky, sunny, a little bit of wind moving from left to right. That's a south to north wind. That long ball up, intended for Malik Johnson, but it's quite out of his range, and it will be run down. That's Jordan Murrell in there for the Riverhounds. He's a Markham, Ontario native, born in London, England, but moved to Toronto and spent some time with the TFC Academy before heading off to play at Syracuse University. Wearing number 4 for the Riverhounds is Jordan Murrell.
Good composed play there from Herzog. He's a player TFC will have to watch out for as well. He has MLS experience with the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Little one-touch attempt there from Hollingsworth, and now it's up the right side, and an opportunity here for Pittsburgh, and it's sent out by Bouchard in the first corner of the match. Comes at the 3-minute mark, and it will go to the Riverhounds. Good defending there from Bouchard to get back on that run.
Great recovery tackle from Bouchard there. The TFC line was caught a little bit high, a little bit flat there.
Corner will be taken by Merle, it looks like, as he's moved up from his spot on the back line. Number of players moving into the area. Swung in and headed away by Thomas, and that's what Terry mentioned off the top. He's integral in defending set pieces. Sharpie takes his man down. Referee awards play on. Bouchard able to disrupt that cross, and a good bit of defending there to send it out wide for a throw and not concede another corner.
It was there. Sharpie got a little bit too excited and close to his man and was turned a bit easy. If I'm Pittsburgh there, I think I'd rather the free kick than the advantage played by the referee. Fantastic recovery run there.
Throw-in will come here from Nicholas Kolarek. Headed back, and Hundal with a touch, and had Edwards there, but Hundal will flick it out for Malik Johnson. Sees Hundal sprinting through the middle, but will decide to slow it down a bit instead. Brian James, and that's Aiden Daniels, another player who's come up through the TFC Academy. Young player, just 17 years of age. And a little bit aggressive on the challenge there, and Pittsburgh has won the free kick. There's Zach Boggs, now for Stephen Okai. This is Willie Hunt and Green. Green slips through two pressuring players from Toronto. That's Anthony Osorio. Skylar Thomas, here's the footsteps, and we'll just send it back towards Pittsburgh territory. Edwards is dispossessed, and moving forward is Kolarek. Okai, Green. Here's Hollingsworth. And on the left side, and a strike just wide, coming off the foot of Romeo Parks. And nearly a dangerous opportunity there for Parks, as he looked like he had a little bit more room to work with. We got a second look.
Good tackle from the TFC player there. Falls kindly to the Pittsburgh midfielder. Plays a great ball in behind Sharpie, and he's not able to hit the target.
So the first shot directed towards goal comes from Pittsburgh, but it misses the target. Bouchard. Now Thomas. Push forward. Hundal trying to run onto it, but he will not. Terry, a player that we have not called the name of just yet, but he's out there on the back line. Nick Haglund getting some work in down with the TFC2 today. He played one game for TFC2, one half last year while rehabbing from injury, and he has been loaned to TFC2 here today from TFC. What do we expect to see out of him this afternoon?
Yeah, it's great for the young TFC players to play alongside Hagelin. He's what you call a true professional. He's very good on and off the field. He's a fantastic role model, does a lot of work in the community. Also with the team, we'll see Zavaleta as well. Because of the US rules, we might only see them each play a half, but he'll be very important against this veteran-heavy Pittsburgh side.
Similar situation last year. Haglund came down and played a half. Chris Konopka was also rehabbing from injury and came down and played a half of that game as well. There's Raheem Edwards trying to work along the left flank, but he's run out of room there, and it's going to be a goal kick for the Riverhounds.
I like to see that there from Edwards. He did that in Montreal really well in the last game. Real positive attacking the fullback. The fullback does well to usher it out, but that positive play from Edwards is what both I like to see and the fans come into the game.
Merle played into the middle for Green. Hollingsworth is there. Fans, make sure to keep up to date with the USL all season long by visiting the new USLsoccer.com. Everything you need to know about the USL and its 29 teams. It's revamped from a year ago. It looks extremely sharp and a great tool for all fans of the USL here in 2016. Pittsburgh controlling in midfield. Swung out wide to the left for Parks. He has the best opportunity of the young match so far. We're 8 minutes in, scoreless in Toronto. TFC 2 and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Played forward. There's a lobby, and it's taken neatly by Bono. And it was Corey Herzog who had slipped in there, and the right-footed touch, presenting a good opportunity for Pittsburgh.
Good play there from Pittsburgh. Corey Herzog just pulls off Hagelin's shoulder, and it's a great ball in behind.
Through ball was sent there by Connor Branson, native of Pontefract, England. Went to the University of Charleston in West Virginia. That's an interesting path to come from England into West Virginia. Normally players go the other way around.
As we're seeing now, though, in North America, as the game's really starting to take off, a lot of the players over in England are desperate to come over here and prove themselves.
There's one of two players on this Pittsburgh club born in England. The other, as I mentioned, Jordan Merle, Toronto native, born in London. We'll see if we get another look here at that opportunity from Herzog. Beautiful ball played in.
Yeah, as we see the midfielder get time on the ball there, it's important that Hagelin drops off and doesn't play too high to help prevent that run behind.
Thrown in, chested down, and played back for Merle. Parks. Swings that in, looking for a runner down the right side, but the ball was too centric and rolls right to goalkeeper Alex Bono. He quickly sends it out. On the left flank is Osorio. Anthony Osorio, of course, younger brother of Jonathan, playing with the first club, and the third of the three brothers, Nicholas, belongs to the TFC Academy as well. We saw him in a few matches last season, and we might see him at some point again this year also.
We saw Osorio actually last season play a lot in midfield, so it'll be interesting to see how he does filling in at left back.
And Adam Bouchard is a player who played a lot of left back for this club last year, but he's been put in more of a midfield role this season. As Edwards makes a run down the left side, hurdles over the defender, and it is going to be a free kick for Toronto as Willie Hunt was there and took down Raheem Edwards just outside of the 18-yard box. Edwards is on the turf in some pain. Looks like he's holding his left leg and does look to be in a bit of pain, but works his way up to a seated position now. Let's get another look.
There's some great build-up play here that got the ball into Edwards. Edwards again drives at the back four. Definitely a free kick, no question about it. In a great position.
Worked through a tough challenge before being taken down. A strong run there from Raheem Edwards, and it's going to present an excellent opportunity for Toronto. And last week we saw Edwards and Brian James, really the two that were working together on these set pieces. Looks like the two of them are there. Aiden Daniels in there as well. Skylar Thomas pushed forward into the box. We've seen this a few times. He will come forward on the set pieces. And that's how he managed to score 3 goals a year ago. It's going to be swung in by Edwards, and it's off the wall and out for a corner.
Yeah, Matt Edwards tries to be a little bit clever there and catch the keeper off at his near post. Really, I'd like to see a right footer on those in swinging it in.
So Edwards will go over to the corner flag, send this one in as well. Left-footed swing. And it's a goal from Nick Hageland! Toronto's on the board! On loan from Toronto FC, and 12 minutes in, Nick Hageland makes his mark.
What a fantastic ball from Edwards. Puts it right into the mixer there. Hageland goes up. He wants it more than anybody, and he buries it in the side of the net.
As you touched on, the ball in from Raheem Edwards, perfectly placed, maybe a little bit high. And we saw this last week in Montreal on some of his corners and free kicks. A little bit more air under the ball than you'd like to see, but in this situation, absolutely perfect placement.
Yeah, he really puts it on a plate for Hageland to go on and win it. And Haglund comes through, 1-0 Toronto.
Throw will come for Toronto here. And
you can see, Matt, the fans really enjoying that one as well.
Absolutely.
I really like the rentals they've done here at the OSA. It feels more like a proper football match now.
And we alluded to this off the top as well, Terry, how Toronto would play with the lead. This is 3 consecutive games now that they have opened the scoring. And they were able to score in the first half in New York, not until the second half in Montreal, but it's an early lead now and a big stretch of game for them to work with the lead now.
Yeah, that's a great problem to have. It's nice to see Toronto go out in front for the 3rd game in a row. The way Jason Bent's team plays with a lot of possession, as we're seeing right now, so that'll be important. It might sound obvious, but when TFC have the ball, Pittsburgh can't score. And it's really hard work on a hot day like this on the turf, chasing them around. And again, opportunities will open up if they keep the ball like this.
So an assist for Raheem Edwards. He also, as we mentioned, has 2 goals on the season. So a strong start to the campaign for Raheem Edwards.
Yeah, it's great to see him, Matt, producing now. One of my knocks on him last season was he was fantastic in between the 2 boxes, but his final product let him down a little bit. Maybe this offseason, he's...
Offside flag is up.
Yeah, that's a better line from TFC, but maybe this offseason he's really worked on his final product, and we've seen that with 2 goals and 2 assists now this season.
Yeah, he had an assist on the Skylar Thomas goal on the season opener in New York, so involvement on 4 of the 5 Toronto goals for Raheem Edwards. He's really going to be a focal part of this offense this year. Mo Babuli, who was the focal point last year, signed to a MLS contract with TFC. So he has only played in 1 of the 3 matches now, and Raheem Edwards is going to be relied upon to take a bigger role.
Yeah, definitely, Matt. Good point. A lot of TFC's offense last season did go through Mo Babuli.
As Pittsburgh mounting an attack here, Parks slips it in, and looks like Herzog stumbled there. And now it will be played back for Hollingsworth. He's going to try and swing it in, still with it, looking for a shot attempt. Mike Green swinging it in a little bit far on the right side for Stephen Okai. And that is offside flag up for the Riverhounds. Fans, become a fan of the USL on Facebook. You can get exclusive league news and interactive content.
Good response from Pittsburgh there after going a goal behind. They had some pressure there. Skylar Thomas, it's important he stays on his feet there. I know there was no contact, but the slightest touch there and he's giving no penalty away.
Quarter of an hour gone here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. Toronto holding a 1-0 advantage over Pittsburgh. Nick Haglund scoring a beautiful header off a corner in the 12th minute. Edwards swings in for James, comes down with it, but first touch a little heavy and not able to get a shot away. Aiden Daniels. Now Bouchard. That's Osorio. Edwards back for Osorio again. That ball interrupted by Pittsburgh, goes up. Thomas overplayed, but Daniels is able to secure it for Toronto. Haglund. Sharpie. One touch with Johnson, but was not able to continue. Now Johnson working towards the middle, able to get around Okai. Johnson showing those deft ball handling skills again. Swings it out for Edwards. Edwards working his way into the box. Edwards, a little bit too heavy, is able to maintain it. And Hundle nearly with an opportunity. Looked like Edwards had carried that out of bounds. The Pittsburgh players were lobbying for that to be called, but the referee kept it in play.
Some fantastic play here from both TFC wingers here. Edwards goes past his man, finds a great cut back here. Hundale probably thinks it's gone out rather than reacting and taking a chance and gambling. If he does, it's a great opportunity for him. At the moment, Pittsburgh, Matt, really struggling to come to grips with both TFC wingers.
Be a throw in for Toronto here. You mentioned the good response from Pittsburgh, but Toronto not only matching that, looking to mount a little bit more of an offensive attack as well. Jason Benton knows they're not at all going to be happy with a 1-0 lead.
He'll be happy with a 1-0 lead, definitely, but if the opportunities to get more, they definitely won't hold back. They're actually really set up well for a 1-0 lead in a counter-attacking system with the two wingers and Hundell up front. There's a lot of pace between those three players, and you'll see both Johnson and Edwards interchanging, making life difficult for the Pittsburgh back line.
It's Thomas now. Deflects to Brian James. Long through ball there for Edwards. Edwards runs onto it, crosses it. Hundell was there looking for the ball, but it was smothered by Hunter Gilstrap. As that was nearly a head-on collision between Sean Hundell and Hunter Gilstrap.
Some brilliant play there. James picks it up in the pocket, plays it out wide. Edwards whips a great ball in, and the keeper does well to come out and smother it in the end.
Hunter Gilstrap turning 33 today, the Pittsburgh keeper. Terry, did you ever have an opportunity to play on your birthday?
Possibly. I can't remember just the last time. I definitely had a few birthdays to go through.
Haglund. James tries a one-touch there through Hundell. Takes a slip, and Pittsburgh is able to control. There's Green. Slows down for Hunt. Now Merle. Swung in, no one there for the Riverhounds, and it's calmly collected by Nick Haglund. And he will send it back to his keeper, Alex Bono, and will work out through the left side with Thomas. Osorio. Daniels back for Osorio and Thomas once more. We approach 20 minutes played at the Ontario Soccer Centre. The Young Reds leading the Riverhounds 1-0. Nick Haglund with a marker in the 12th minute. Osorio. Edwards tries to chip forward for Hundell. It's collected by Branson and sent back to the keeper. Move forward, Edwards right in there again. Daniels able to keep it. Johnson. Edwards. Hundell. Hundell working in. Good save, another opportunity. And referee waves off a handball touch from the Riverhounds. I'm not sure how he does that, as it looked like the Pittsburgh defender fell right on the ball.
Some great build-up play here. The ball comes to Hundell. He blows past the defender there, just stretches out. The ball gets away from him a little bit, and he toe pokes it at the keeper. A little bit more composure. Maybe he's better going at it with his left foot there. But some of the build-up play compared to last season has been fantastic, Matt, this year.
There's a Pittsburgh player down on the pitch, rather.
Yeah, I think there was some last-ditch defending from the center half there, trying to get back to put Hundell off.
I believe that's Mike Green who was taken down. Fans, you see the atmosphere here at the Ontario Soccer Centre today. If you want to join the experience, you can get TFC2 season seats are on sale now, just $120 a seat. Visit tfc2.ca to secure your tickets. It's a sold-out crowd here this afternoon. 14 more home dates after today. A lot of Sunday games, some Wednesday evening games, and a couple of Saturday night games as well. But they are certainly hoping to have a raucous crowd here for all home dates at the Ontario Soccer Centre. And so far, Terry, they are 1 for 1.
They are, and it's a fantastic atmosphere here. And the young TFC players aren't letting the crowd down. They're definitely playing with a skip to their step. Some of the passing through midfield has been fantastic so far.
Let's take one more look at the goal from Nick Haglund. Was about 10 minutes ago now. And just a direct route to the ball from Haglund. Knew exactly where it was going to come down.
Yeah, it looked simple there, but Jason Bennett's team have worked on that all week. Fantastic ball in by Edwards. And free header for Haglund, and he buries it in the bottom corner. No chance for the keeper.
So it was Mike Green who was knocked up there, and he is off for a moment, but now the referee instructing him to resume play.
it's great, Matt, to see Hagelin leading by example there. You know, he'll want to be getting back in to Vanny's plans in and around the first team, and no better way than doing that than by scoring.
And he showed well in his 45 minutes last season as well when he came down for a game late in the season.
Yeah, he's a player I like. He's played almost 40 games in the MLS. He's a real assured defender, and I think he's a player Skylar Thomas will love to play beside, and you'll also learn a lot from.
He's a 10th overall pick from Toronto FC in the MLS Super Draft in 2014, and still developing his game.
He is. I know under the previous regime, Ryan Nelson really liked him and thought big things. His development got hampered a little bit by injury, but it's great to see him back out there doing well.
Parks. Okai. Swung wide left for Merle. Merle into the middle. There's Herzog. Hollingsworth, and it's well over the goal, and it will be a goal kick for Bono. Well defended by Toronto.
It was in the end. Edwards could get a little bit tighter there to prevent the cross. Herzog does really well to hold the ball up and lay it back for the midfielder. As we see the ball get switched here, the fullback whips a good ball in. Herzog, rather than trying to shoot and score on his own, holds the ball up well, lays it back to the midfielder, and he just gets underneath it. He's trying to bend it to his far corner.
Bouchard steps up and will chip that forward for Brian James. Now Malik Johnson had Sharpie running in behind him. Opts instead for James. Back into the middle for Bouchard. Thomas. And Bono. Bouchard, who, as we mentioned earlier, played a lot of left back last season, and looks like he's being employed as a central midfielder here this season, at least this afternoon. How difficult a transition is that position change?
We see a lot of defensive midfielders can slot in and play at fullback, but Bouchard's had a calming, composed influence on the team right now. It's a really important position there because really he's the only protection in front of the back four. So defensively he's got a lot of responsibilities. But I like what I've seen from him on the ball. He's showed a good passing range, both short and long.
Fans, follow at USL on Twitter. Keep up with all the live action during the 2016 USL season. And while you're on the web or your mobile device, also follow the USL on Instagram as well. You can see match highlights and action shots from all the games around the USL. You certainly would have seen Malik Johnson's goal a week ago being displayed on the USL Instagram account. Toronto working in again. Here is Aiden Daniels, now James. And Bouchard. That's Osorio. Osorio swings it in. Intended for Edwards, but it was headed away.
Osorio does well to win a free kick there, Matt. I would have liked to have seen him whip that cross in with his left foot. He cut back there on his right foot, but meant all the strikers had to check their runs, and it gave the defenders a chance to get back in and settle.
Take another look at that play that Terry's talking about there.
Yeah, he does well there to get his body in between the man and the ball to win a free kick.
Edwards swings it in, a little low. Bouchard frees it up. It comes to Thomas! And it's waved off by the referee. Perhaps a foul on Skylar Thomas there.
I think it was a handball at first look, Matt. TFC did really well to keep the ball alive. It falls to James. James can maybe do a little bit better and get a shot off here. Comes into Bouchard. Bouchard keeps it alive. Drops to James. James just snatches at it a little bit, and it goes off of Skylar Thomas's hand.
Long limbs working against Skylar there. Bouchard.
Good to see TFC looking to thread off their set pieces, though.
That's something that didn't really see a whole lot a year ago. The set pieces were certainly not as dangerous as we've seen today for the most part.
No, last year they looked a little bit one-dimensional, just in the box to the big Skylar Thomas, whereas now they've got a few options to hit, and the delivery from Edwards so far has been first class.
Johnson tries a one-touch for Sharpie, now trying to win it back from Hunt, and that's out off of Jordan Merle. Sharpie to throw in quickly. James
Some great pressure, Matt, from TFC there to win the ball back. That's something Jason Bent works hard on, is when not to press, and we saw them get it spot on there.
And that one actually took a deflection off of Stephen Okai, but I don't think any of the officials spotted it, and they're going to award the throw into Pittsburgh. But from our vantage point here, it looked like there was a deflection, and Toronto should have got the possession here. Regardless, they've won it back quickly. And that's really been the story of the game so far, is Toronto really not giving Pittsburgh a lot of room to work with, and any time that they have given up possession, they have won it back.
Yeah, Matt, the TFC midfield's definitely been on top. The three of them are working really hard, and when they do get possession, it's one or two little passes, and then it's out wide to the two very dangerous wingers.
Swung in there by Zach Boggs, but well out of reach of all of his teammates, and it's out for a goal kick.
Bit of a bog standard cross, really.
There's Sharpie. That's collected there by goalkeeper Gilstrap. And as you've been able to hear on the broadcast, this supporter section for Toronto FC2, they have not let up since the opening whistle. Relentless in their chants and cheering. It's actually quite impressive of a feat to be able to keep that up the entire 29 minutes that we've played thus far.
It really is. It's been a fantastic atmosphere here at the OSA, as good as I've ever seen it, and hopefully it can carry on throughout the season. It definitely gives the players a lift on the pitch as well.
Bouchard. Osorio. Thomas. Lifted up for Edwards. Is able to get ahead to it, but it will come right down for Connor Branson. Gilstrap will push it forward himself. Now Mike Green. Sharpie pressured there. Ball comes right towards us.
Sharpie does well there, dealing with the ball bouncing just in front of him with two Pittsburgh defenders doing a throw close to him.
Will be a throw for Toronto and Sharpie. Ryan James. Bono. Thomas. Osorio. Long ball looking for Hundal. He's able to tip it, and it's right at Gilstrap. Gilstrap was far off his line there, and if Hundal had been able to get that maybe a foot or two in either direction, he would have been in trouble.
Great ball here from Osorio. You don't see it off camera, but Hundal checks short to get him behind. Fantastic ball. Gilchrist is almost in no man's land there. Better contact over him, and it's a second goal for TFC.
And Sean Hundal, if we hadn't told you off the top of the broadcast, I'm not sure you would have guessed that he's a 16-year-old academy player suited up for TFC2 here today. He is certainly not looked out of place in this game. Herzog. Parks. One touch, back for Parks, swung in, headed away by Thomas. Sharpie with the left foot, right to James. And just like that, Toronto have thwarted the attack again. Sharpie. Haglund. Bono. Slips it in for Johnson, who is able to run onto it after a poor first touch. Handball there from Green. Bouchard for Haglund.
Bouchard's looked really good, Matt, controlling the game from deep. Almost Bradley-esque. Always wants the ball, lots of little angles, and as I touched on earlier, his passing range looks very good.
And that's the position that he's playing in this system, the one that Michael Bradley would be playing on the MLS squad. Another free kick here for Toronto, taken quickly by Brian James. Brian James, a 4th-round draft choice in 2016 for Toronto FC, out of Sunrise, Florida. As we are in the 33rd minute here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. Nick Haglin's goal in the 12th minute, the difference thus far. The Young Reds lead 1-0. Terry, we touched on it a little bit earlier in the match. Pittsburgh has played just one game this year. They were snowed out. Last week. They were supposed to play Harrisburg City at home. That would have been their second game of the campaign. But essentially, if you go back to the start of preseason, they've got just one game under their belt in 9 weeks. The coach, Mark Steffens, said the team was raring to go, chomping at the bit. But does a little bit of rust play into effect here when you've only played one game in that amount of time?
Yeah, it's definitely a factor. The boys will have trained hard all the way through spring training, come into the season raring to go. They've only played one game, and you can only get that match fitness. I know it might sound a little bit obvious, but through matches. And there's a big difference between that sharpness in games rather than just in training. But having said that, you've got to give credit to this TFC team today. They've definitely come out on the front foot, both offensively and defensively. They've been difficult to break down.
Hundal defended well there. There's Parks. Swung in wide on the right side, chipped in. That was Nicholas Kolarek.
Yeah, we see there Edwards working really hard off the ball. Not only is he dangerous going forward, but he'll put a shift in to help cover his fullback, and that's what managers and maybe not everyone managers will like, but maybe not every fan will see, and that's a great string to his bow.
Hagland. Long ball up the right flank, comes down to James. Now Johnson. Hundal. Hundal working against Willie Hunt. Cross in. Believe the intent was to get it to James, but not in the right spot.
A little bit too direct there from Hundal. With no one in the box, it might have been better just holding it up and waiting for his teammates to get in and around him.
Pressure from Edwards, and not a smart decision there, or not the best decision anyway, to volley from that distance as he clears the fence behind the net here.
Not the greatest finish there, but it's great to see him pressing and stepping in to win the ball there defensively. On this turf, when it's hot like this, at times the ball can get caught between your feet, and when you see your opponent doing that, that's a great time to get in and around him and win the ball back, especially in their own field.
Nike is a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Nick Hagland up for Brian James. James, a little stutter step move there. Able to find some time to play it to Adam Bouchard.
Love that from James, keeping the ball there. Brings down the ball right out of the sky, and then has the composure to keep the ball for his team.
That through ball looking for Daniels was a little off the mark and easily handled by Gilstrap. Stephen Okai. Okai for Boggs. He's pulled down there and he's won a free kick.
At the moment, Matt, Pittsburgh look a little bit one-paced. They can't excuse, I spoke to one of the players before the game, they can't use an excuse as their travel. They've done things right. They came up yesterday by bus, spent the money, stayed in a hotel, but they look just a little bit sluggish and one-paced for me at the moment.
They'll take this free kick as an opportunity to maybe create a goal here from this distance. They're going to try, I guess, a long play in. A number of players pushed up forward. Pittsburgh's got, I believe, 6 yellow jerseys in or around that box. Push forward, and Bono reads it well and comes out and snatches it out of the air.
Great positive goalkeeping from Bono. I also like the shout he gave. You could hear him from up here, keeper's ball.
Surprising, could hear him up here with those fans on the other side. Bouchard. Haglund, chip forward, had Sharpie there, maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. Haglund might have thought Sharpie was going to cut in.
Yeah, he thought Johnson was going to go in behind. He actually went long to create the space to go short.
Stephen Okai. Willie Hunt through the middle for Herzog, headed back by Haglund. Now Green. Green. Merle. Merle swings it in. Thomas heads it away. Green. Merle. Defended well there by Johnson. And out towards midfield. Hunt. Branson. And now Kolarek. Toronto will take control. Daniels. Johnson. One touch back for Daniels. Bouchard. One touch for Haglund. Johnson. Swarmed by 3 defenders and draws the foul there from Jordan Merle.
Yeah, Johnson shows great strength there to hold the ball up and draw a foul. It's important TFC keep the ball as they did there.
Bouchard plays quickly for Sharpie, swung in, comes down, taken by Hundle. There's Edwards, and his shot is deflected, and it's rolled wide, and it will be a corner for Toronto.
Good early ball in here from Sharpie. Ball drops to Hundell here. Rather than trying to shoot himself, he plays it to Edwards. I'd like to see Edwards take him on there in the box rather than shoot, but he does well there in the corner for his side.
Struck in again, and we're going to say it was untouched in its path out of bounds, and it will be a goal kick for Hunter Gilstrap. Wind blowing in that direction, and perhaps Edwards just misjudged the impact the wind might have on that ball.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to pick out Skylar Thomas at the back post there. Didn't miss by a whole bunch, but it was a great opportunity for him in the box. Once he isolates a defender like that, he definitely has the trick, and he's so hard to defend. He can go either way. That's when he's got the defender on toast, and he should take him on.
There's Parks working his way through the Toronto defense. Gets it back, Parks in, and he scores! A brilliant run from Romeo Parks. The Jamaica native draws Pittsburgh level in the 41st minute.
This is probably Pittsburgh's best play of the game. Goes past Bouchard there. Herzog picks it up, plays a great ball into him. Skylar Thomas thinks he's going to run across him, but he cuts in front of him, and it's a good composed finish. Right there, it's maybe an opportunity where Bouchard can bring him down. I know it'd lead to a yellow, but it might be a good professional foul. Fantastic celebration, by the way, as well, Matt.
Nailed stuck the landing. And regardless, it's a goal for Pittsburgh. And I guess on the downside, we've mentioned Toronto has now conceded an equalizer in all 3 of their matches. Just a few minutes before halftime here.
Yeah, it's not a great time to concede. You never want to concede just at the end of the half, where now Pittsburgh will have a lift going into the changing room at halftime. But you've got to give Pittsburgh credit. It was a fantastic goal. Maybe I would have liked to see Bouchard just delay there rather than jumping in on the Pittsburgh attacker.
Skylar Thomas heads that forward. Edwards trying to win it back. Played up for Johnson. Johnson's onside. That's deflected off the Riverhounds defender and will go out for a corner. Willie Hunt was there providing the opposition for Malik Johnson.
On the corner.
Great reaction from TFC there. You'll see James here pick it up in the pocket. A lot of midfielders would go sideways, but he plays a great forward ball into Johnson. Johnson thinks he can shoot it through traffic there, and he wins a corner for his side.
You're going to see a substitution here for the Riverhounds. going to be Ben Swanson coming in for Nicholas Kolarek.
There's a lot of height here in the TFC box with Skylar Thomas, Bouchard, and Hangeland. Edwards doesn't need to be too accurate with his delivery. Just put it in there for them to go and attack it.
Swings it in, but it's right at the keeper, and Gilstrap will handle it with ease.
Yeah, that's a little bit frustrating. Good catch and goalkeeping from the keeper, but Edwards is better than that.
Thomas receives that at midfield and will push it back for his keeper.
26, Ben Swanson.
Back for Thomas. Osorio. Daniels. Works around one defender. Osorio back for Daniels. Daniels looking for Brian James. Pass was just a touch far back and was able to be intercepted by the Riverhounds player. Again
though, Matt, some fantastic interchange between the TFC midfielders. Just lack that final pass, which we have seen them produce for most of the first half.
Edwards with a steal there. There's James. James will have a go at goal, and it's just wide, and will be a goal kick.
Great interception from Edwards there. Again, he wins the ball in the Pittsburgh defensive half. Passes it to the TFC midfielder there. We'll get another look at it here. Edward wins it, goes to the midfield. Maybe might have been better going out wide to Johnson, but you can't knock a player for shooting in and around the box.
We're approaching halftime here. No signal yet from the fourth official of how much added time we'll have. Sharpie heads forward. Sharpie able to keep that play alive from his backside, but the Riverhounds will mount a quick counterattack. There's Hollingsworth swung in, and it comes down for Boggs. He'll have to run it down a bit. Zach Boggs. 1 minute of added time signaled by the fourth official.
Great tackle there from Osorio. He needs to time that right, otherwise he's giving away a penalty.
Sharpie pushes that forward, little out of the reach of Hundal, and will be sent out of play by keeper Gilstrap. Sharpie, Johnson comes for Hundal. Hundal will get it back into the middle looking for James, but two defenders there. And that will do it for the opening half. Toronto opens up strong, a goal in the 12th minute from Nick Hagland. Concedes the equalizer late in the 41st minute, but all in all, I would say that Toronto was probably the better of the two sides in that opening 45 minutes. Terry?
Yeah, definitely, Matt. TFC will be happy with their performance in the first half. Really, they should be going in to that changing room with a 1-0 lead. But I think Pittsburgh's shown their sort of veteranness and experience to not drop their heads and score the equalizer.
As mentioned, a strong opening 45 minutes for Toronto. Now let's send it down to pitch level. Chantel Blais.
Thanks, Matt. Nick, 1-0 going after 45. First of all, wonderful set piece, finished. Break down that goal for us.
It's a great ball, Raheem, and when it's that good, you just hit it in.
And unfortunately conceded the goal right before the half. What does the team have to do to kind of get a lead in this game again?
Yeah, I think we just got to keep possession of the ball. I think we're letting them dictate a little bit. I think if we can work together in our movement and our passing, I think we'll be fine.
Good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Right back to you.
Thanks, Chantel. A strong opening 45 minutes for Toronto FC2. They'll be pleased with their efforts in the first half. Nick Hagland, a strong presence for Toronto on the back line, not only in defending, but also scoring the opening goal for Toronto in the 12th minute. It will be an interesting final 45. Toronto up 1-0 for the third game in a row. They've conceded the second half, along with analysis when we return. Welcome back to Toronto FC2 Soccer. It's at the half, Toronto FC2 and the Pittsburgh Riverhounds draw or level at 1-1. Matt Nicol-Antonio with Terry Dunfield. It was a strong start for Toronto, and really the front three of Raheem Edwards, Sean Hundle, and Malik Johnson really showing good pace and good connection with each other off the hop.
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the best halves TFC2 played in their entire history. Were fantastic. The front three have caused them loads of problems. The movement's been great. And one-on-one, when they can isolate the fullbacks of Pittsburgh every time they're going past them.
Now, on the other side of the ball, the defense for Toronto FC2, they were pretty much level with the offense as well. They, other than the one goal scored late in the half, a solid performance from that back line, anchored by veteran Nick Hagland.
Yeah, they defended really well. They defended when they needed to. Pittsburgh caused them some problems down the left side. Sharpie got isolated on his own a little bit at times and was doubled up on, but the two center halves were fantastic. Anything into the box they cleared. So I think overall Jason Bent's going to be very happy with that first half performance.
The goal scorers in that opening half. Nick Hagland for Toronto FC2 scoring in the 12th minute. You see the celebration there from Romeo Parks. He equalized for Pittsburgh in the 41st minute. All in all, a pretty equal showing for both sides, and the scoreline indicates that 1-1 at the half. We'll have more to come in the halftime show and the second half. When we return, you're watching Toronto FC2 versus the Pittsburgh Riverhounds on USL Soccer.
Go ahead, guys.
I'm here with head coach Jason Bent. Jason, after the first 45, what's the message to the team right now?
Yeah, fairly pleased. We need to keep going. We've dominated pretty much the entire half. We've had numerous chances, a few penalty call claims, and we've been fairly solid. We just had one sort of moment where they went kind of straight up the middle, and that was a little bit too easy of a goal, and that has not been us this season. So hopefully we can correct that and sort of get a bit more pressure into midfield.
And how do you keep the team motivated after conceding a goal right before the half?
That's not the ideal time to give up a goal or any sort of time, but we just have to keep our thoughts up and our spirits up because we played well in the first half. We just had one little moment right before the halftime that cost us, but we've got to stay positive and keep playing our football.
All right, well, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, Chantel. Jason Bent really outlining exactly sort of what we were talking about. An overall solid half for Toronto. Just one little slip up, I guess you could call it, towards the end of the half. And unfortunately for them, it ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, it was a fantastic first half from the young TFC squad. Probably one of the best halves I've seen them play so far in their short history. It's important now that the young boys don't get their heads down after conceding late, and they continue to play positive, stay on the front foot, and I'm sure they'll get lots of chances in the second half.
As we've mentioned a few times throughout the broadcast, it is confirmed a sold-out crowd, 1,200 in the stands here this afternoon. They've been treated to a strong performance from the home side so far, and something we talked a little bit more about last year than we have today, but these are probably ideal football conditions in terms of the weather today.
Yeah, it's a great day for a soccer game, and the 1,200 fans have been like there's 5,000. They've been great, especially the supporters group over there, the Ultras.
As the second half gets ready to kick off, I'm sure we'll be hearing those loud drums and chants throughout the final 45. Just one substitution to note for Pittsburgh in the first half. It was just after the goal, actually. Swanson in and Kolarek out. So the one change. No other changes have been announced for either side here. So I have to believe that the same lineups are intact. A reminder, 5 substitutions allowed per side in the USL. 2 more than the what we're accustomed to seeing in MLS and international play.
Matt, at halftime I had a conversation with Toronto FC GM Tim Bezbanchenko, and he was saying how happy he is and what a difference his TFC2 squad is compared to last season. They've got some confidence around the training ground now, and it's showing out on the pitch.
Jason Bent talked about that a lot during the offseason as well, or at least in the build-up to their opener a few weeks ago, that now that they've got a season under their belts, they know what to expect in these matches. He said, we know everything is improved. We know how to eat better, travel better, train better. Everything they have that 1 year of experience under their belt, and it's given them so much perspective in terms of how to do things moving forward. And you can see it on the pitch. As mentioned, in the first 3 games so far, this team looks like a much stronger side than what we saw for most part of last season.
Yes, I agree. It's easy to say it too, but we're really actually seeing it, which is a lot harder to do.
So the second half is underway, and Toronto's won a free kick here, and it's back for Haglund. Bouchard, Skylar Thomas. Edwards just took a slip there. Referee does well not to call it and wins the ball back. There's Hundal. Hundal with some good footwork. Working against the defender, still with it. Hundal looking for an option, now sends it over to Malik Johnson. Hundal, one touch looking for Johnson to run onto it, now tries to cross in. It's deflected off the Riverhounds defender, and will go out for an early second half Toronto corner. Once again, we see Sean Hundal creating offense with his legs and his footwork.
Some great tenacity from both Edwards and Hundal. Hundal shows his strength there, holding off the defender. Does really well there, could have gone down. Honest play from him, goes out wide, and plays a great 1-2 with him, leads to a corner.
Edwards will swing this one in again. It's met by Romeo Parks, the Riverhounds goal scorer in the first half, and for the moment clears it away. Haglund heads that down. Hundal rather, unable to get to it. Now Thomas, defended well, swarmed by 3 defenders, and now Mike Green will send it out off the stats tent. Out of play and a throw in for Osorio. Back for Thomas. Sharpie, Bouchard. Thomas. Osorio. Haglund. Now Sharpie. And Bono. Fans reminder, all USL matches are available live free in HD on YouTube. Follow the action on the USL YouTube channel. That's likely where you are finding us today. And we once again thank you for tuning in. At the Nicola Antonio here with Terry Dunfield to my right. Chantal Blais is at pitch level for us this afternoon at the Ontario Soccer Centre. This ball played forward. Haglund pushes it forward. And Terry, what this TFC2 club has done is, or the creation of this club has allowed a bridge to be formed between the TFC Academy and the first club. And really the first player to go through all three stages of that is Mo Babuli. We spoke about him a bit in the first half. Signed that MLS contract this offseason, and he really sort of provides an example for a lot of young players on this team as the path that they can take if they work on their craft and develop their game.
Yeah, Mo Babuli is the first to come through and actually get regular minutes with the TFC first team in the MLS. It just proves and shows to the players that if they work hard and they do the right things, that there is a pathway into the first team. I know Mo Babuli had a fantastic preseason with the first team, but it must be a shining light for the guys to see him in there getting minutes with the first team.
I spoke to Chris Manella during the preseason about it, and he said just that. He said it does show everybody that it is possible, and some of these guys have seen minutes, as you mentioned, with the MLS club last season. Manella was he didn't see minutes, but he was called into the first team a number of times. Babuli as well, Jordan Hamilton, Jay Chapman sort of bounced back and forth between these two clubs, but it does provide, like you said, an opportunity to show these players that the gateway to the MLS does exist through this TFC2 side. It's pulled down by Okai, and it's a one-touch strike that's well above the goal and not threatening at all to Alex Bono.
Yeah, Matt, we actually saw yesterday, take a look at the replay here. Good deep cross. Edwards does just enough to put him off there, and he gets under it there and almost puts it in the parking lot. But yesterday we saw Chapman get some real important minutes against DC, and if they didn't think he was ready, they wouldn't have put him on. Played almost 30 minutes with TFC leading at RFK Stadium.
He was a player who, when he was here last year, did show at times that he was, just a little bit a class above the rest of the competition, and was really a strong influence on this club late in the season when he was on loan to Toronto FC2 to gain some minutes. Another opportunity for Pittsburgh, and that's sent well wide. That's Corey Herzog, who had the opportunity.
Good near post run from Herzog. Probably went a little bit early, got pressed out. Probably went, ball goes out wide here. Defender could do a little bit better to stop that cross coming in. Herzog's run was a little bit too early, which gave him too much to do, going past the near post there. Good defending, though, from Skylar Thomas.
Adam Bouchard will swing it to the right for Sharpie. Now this is Brian James. And that's played out of bounds.
Probably James's first bad pass. He's a player, this is the first time I've seen him live play, and he's a player I've been very impressed with. He picks the ball up in some great pockets, real positive with his first touch. He's got the ability almost in one motion to take it and turn and now be at the Pittsburgh back four.
little bit of a, you want to call it a sluggish 7.5 minutes to start this second half. It really looks like both teams sort of taking stock of each other once more, and it just goes to show how important that goal, or how much that goal at the end of the first half changes things. If it's 1-0 heading into the second half, I would imagine we'd see a much more aggressive Pittsburgh attack here. But pulling back level, it's almost like how we saw at the beginning of the game, both these teams being very cautious.
A little bit. The way TFC defends, they sit back in their unit. Good ball in behind there.
Good play there by Bono, too.
Bono does really well to read it there. Just sort of as I was saying, Matt, the way TFC defends, they sit back in their unit. They're not going to press when there's no chance to win the ball, and they're waiting for a bad touch or a stray pass when they can then all of a sudden swarm on it altogether. So while it might be like a soft pressure right now, they're actually working really hard, waiting for an opportunity where they can go and win it just like that.
Bouchard receives from Thomas for Osorio. Thomas. Haglund. Again for Thomas. And now Osorio with some room to run here on the left side. Sends up for Edwards. Edwards looking to cross in, able to get around one man. He's pulled down and it's a penalty to Toronto. Raheem Edwards with a nifty move to get outside around the defender, Mike Green, and he's pulled down and won Toronto a penalty here 9 minutes into the second half.
Definitely a stonewall penalty, Matt. TFC do really well, patiently played along the back, waiting for the opening. Osorio brings the ball forward, gets Edwards in a one-on-one situation. The defender's on toast here. He doesn't know whether he's going to go right or left. Cuts it, beats him to the byline, drags him down. Definitely a penalty.
And it looks like Raheem Edwards will be the one to take it. He looks for his third goal of the season. And now having some words with Corey Herzog, who's moved in. I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to do here. The referee motioning him to get back to the line.
Using a little bit of MLS now, he's trying to put him off there. But it's great to see Edwards step up and take the responsibility to try and convert this penalty.
Now the referee wants to have some words with Malik Johnson and Jordan Morel, as both of them were sort of jockeying for position along that line.
This is the last thing you want when you're taking a penalty, is any extra weight.
Imagine the weight for the goalkeeper equally tough. Edwards steps up, scores! Raheem Edwards responds with a backflip of his own in celebration. Toronto is back up 2-1.
Great to see Edwards there lifting the fans. Fantastic composed penalty. The ultras are going wild again.
The goalkeeper guessed correctly, low to the left, but Edwards was a little bit quicker and snuck it inside the post.
Great finish there to the keeper's bottom left. Keeper gets over, he almost dives over it there. Good penalty from Edwards. Third goal on the season.
And with that goal, he now has 5 goals in his USL career. And for the moment, he is the franchise leader for Toronto FC2 in goals scored with his 5 over the last 2 campaigns. But 3 goals in 3 games, and he's up near the top of the table in terms of scoring leaders in all of USL soccer right now.
Yeah, it's great to see Edward getting the goals as well that matches fantastic performances. Good diagonal from him there as well. And we see Johnson back at it.
Johnson here with another opportunity for Edwards. Looked like he was trying to push it forward for Hundal.
Well, I think he was trying to shoot there. I think those goals have gone to his head there a little bit, but fantastic from Edwards. One of my knocks on him last season was his final product, and he's gone away in the offseason, really worked on it, and it's definitely paying dividends.
You mentioned the goals getting to his head a little bit. Is there a risk there with a young player trying to get a bit ahead of himself when he gets on a bit of a goal-scoring hot streak, not to try and get too aggressive and chase more goals when they're not there?
For an attacking player, confidence is good. We love to see that, and you'll never knock a player But the mentality and from what I know about Edwards, he's not the kind of player that'll let stuff go to his head. He'll keep working hard and does really well there again. Great vision to pick out that ball and technique to pull it off.
Another fantastic challenge from Edwards there, and a good ball up for his fellow forward, Malik Johnson, on the right flank now as he tries to work towards the middle. As Sharpie looking for a cross in. Doesn't take it yet. Now Johnson will push back for Haglund. Bouchard, Haglund, Thomas.
It's really good, Matt, when you play with a player like Edwards who could score, create something out of nothing, wins a penalty for his team, and then goes and sticks it in. Not a bad day to have a good game with Tim Bezvichenko in the crowd, the Toronto FC GM.
Thomas out for Haglund.
This could be one of the first times that we see a Toronto FC double on the weekend, with Toronto winning in DC as well yesterday.
And unfortunately for this club, the wins were few and far between last season. Just 6 of them on the season in the 28 games, and only 4 at home.
But as we sort of said at halftime, this looks like a much more experienced and TFC team, playing with almost a swagger or skip to their step, and training alongside some of the TFC first team players will definitely bring that out. Your Javinkos and your Michael Bradleys.
Pittsburgh with an opportunity here. Push back towards midfield. Boggs able to work around Edwards, but his pass does not get through Bouchard.
Bouchard, Matt, does really well there to read the play, break it up, and then he has the composure to keep it. And
Hundel working 1-on-4, but is able to almost get around the corner wide on the right side, working against Willie Hunt, but eventually the Riverhounds defender wears him down.
Hard to believe Matt Hundel's only 16.
Fresh, youthful legs from Sean Hundel, and does look like he's got the vision of a more experienced player, though.
Yeah, some of his movement's been fantastic today.
Another young player, Aiden Daniels. Now Edwards. Hundel looked like he was trying to chip in for Daniels. Daniels wasn't making the run, however.
Good idea there from Hundel. Would have been better to take a touch and keep the ball. It's important now that TFC are ahead that they don't give the ball away cheaply and keep possession. And as we said when they were 1-0 up, they're really set up well for the counter-attack with that pace up front between the front 3 of them.
James Johnson with a lot of room to work on the right flank, pushing in. Johnson into the area. Hundel, he and Edwards were very close together there. Looked like they may have gotten their signals crossed on who was going to receive that pass from Johnson, and then a handball, I believe, on Hundel. Let's take one more look first at Raheem Edwards' penalty kick goal. Another angle.
Very assured penalty from Edwards. Great celebration as well, but that goal's given the whole OSA a big lift, and you can hear the ultras at it again.
You know, with 3 goals in 3 games, Jason Bent might tell him to be careful with that celebration. Don't want to hurt a knee by landing the wrong way, and now he's lost his top goal-scoring threat. As we see a substitution here, Eric Zavaleta entering for Skylar Thomas. A very strong 61 minutes for Skylar Thomas.
Yeah, I've been impressed again with Skylar Thomas. What's so impressive for me is how consistent he is for a young player. Normally with young players, you'll see them play 2 or 3 good games and then they'll drop off. But every week, you know what you're going to get from Skylar Thomas, and that's one attribute that managers love.
That swung in a little bit wide. Fans, don't forget, keep up to date with all the USL action, news, features, and other events going on by visiting uslsoccer.com. It's everything you need to know about the USL and its 29 teams. There's an opportunity, offside flag up against the Riverhounds.
Good line held there by Hengel, and you can hear him communicating to his back 4 all the way from up here. Definitely offside.
So Eric Zavaleta coming in for Skylar Thomas, another player with plenty of MLS experience, and he brings that to this back line as they will look to defend a lead over the final half hour. Zavaleta, native of Indiana, was acquired from the Seattle Sounders in a trade in January 2015. Looking to provide depth in that center back position for TFC.
Yeah, the TFC back four will be a tough back four to break into. They look very solid at the moment, and they're giving the first team and players, your Javinkos and Altidore, the platform to play from.
There's Stephen Okai, working his way through, long ball, Parks, Bono out to play it, and masterfully clears it off the edge of the 18-yard box.
Some good play from Pittsburgh there. Keeper Bono reads it very well. It was a good run from the fullback to get forward there.
Bouchard steps up, wins that back for Toronto. Looking for Hundal, does not connect, and it's Mike Green. And should mention, as this is crossed in, that's played out. Nick Hagelin taking over the captain's armband from Skylar Thomas when he was subbed out for Eric Zavaleta. So we'll see Bono, always a risky play to come that far off the line, but he does it well.
Yeah, a big part of goalkeeper's job is reading the game and deciding when to come or when not to come, and you see him there time it perfectly.
We saw that a few times last week in Montreal as well, especially in the second half. There were a number of plays where he was able to step up off that line and just make the right play at the right time and clear the ball away. And he was, as we mentioned, instrumental in preserving that win in Montreal at Olympic Stadium last week.
Yeah, he made some key saves coming off his line in Montreal, and it's tough. The turf here is a little bit slower than what it is in the Olympic Stadium, so that'll affect his decision making, and he timed that one very well.
Johnson pulled down there. Hard challenge from Parks. And Johnson just now getting to his feet, but we're going to see a pair of Toronto substitutions. Chris Manella will be coming in to resume the role he normally fills. We talked about that central midfielder's position. Adam Bouchard held the fort exceptionally for him today, and Manella will enter. And Bouba Job coming in as well, taking place Wesley Sharpie. Job started in that right back position in Montreal last week. A little bit different look than what we saw last year. He was more of an attacking player for Toronto last year, a forward or a midfielder, but they've got him playing on the back line here in 2016.
Yeah, one thing Job has loads of is pace. He's very dynamic, and I guess Jason Bent thinks he can slot back in there at right back, and in this system, he wants his fullbacks to get forward, and on paper, Job should be able to do that. I thought Bouchard was fantastic today, Matt. Definitely one of TFC's better performers, and very good defensively and also in possession on the ball.
Looks like Pittsburgh wants to make a couple of substitutions shortly as well. Toronto has now used 3 of theirs.
Coming into the last 25 minutes, Matt, this is where we might see the fact that TFC's played that extra game last week. It might be a little bit ahead with their fitness and where Pittsburgh are right now. Great first ball there from Manila.
Manila all the way in through for Edwards. Edwards has one today, looking for more, carries it through, and he's won a corner for Toronto. So 3 substitutions used for Toronto. Again, they do get 5 here under USL rules. And Pittsburgh has used 1, but they've got 2 players standing at midfield with the 4th official. And the linesman has signaled to the head official that Pittsburgh is interested in making a change. And for them, it will be pulling out Zach Boggs and inserting Caleb Postlethwaite. And also coming out is Michael Green, and they are inserting Isaiah Schaefer. So both clubs have used 3 substitutions to this point. We are in the 68th minute. Toronto holding a 2-1 advantage on a goal from Raheem Edwards, who is standing over the ball at the corner flag right now, looking to get this corner kick underway.
It's a little bit unusual, Matt. You don't normally see substitutions on defending a corner.
Edwards swings it in. Up goes Manella. It comes down, but I believe the referee had whistled a foul. Goal kick taken quickly.
Substitution for Pittsburgh. Out of the match, number 8, Michael Green.
Hunt into the middle.
Into the match, number 16, Isaiah Schaefer.
Long to the right side, Caleb Postlethwaite, one of the new substitutions, getting his first touch. Again, number 2, Caleb Postlethwaite, number 16, Isaiah Schaefer, the new faces in the lineup in the formation for Pittsburgh. There's Sean Hundle, once again winning a ball away and trying to lift it forward for Edwards, but smartly defended by Willie Hunt.
Hundle's been a real handful up front there. Once or twice his decision making could be a little bit better, but for a 16-year-old, he's been fantastic, and those things will improve with more game time.
It's his second consecutive start. He did get the start in Montreal. Didn't play the full 90, but played well into the second half. And Jason Benton was happy with his performance, and have to imagine he will be again today. There's Schaefer. Trying to cross in for Postlethwaite, but it's headed down by Zavaleta.
A couple of good early interceptions from Zavaleta. When you come into a game, it's important that your first few touches are good, and we've seen that from him.
Schaefer back for Hunt. As we enter about final 20 minutes here, do you see the strategy for Pittsburgh changing at all and starting to get more aggressive?
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh definitely will come at Toronto here. It's important Toronto defend in units, not in 1s and 2s, and players aren't drawn out of their block of 4 or their 3 in midfield. Chris is quite experienced at this level for the team, Chris Manila, and he'll slot in there nicely into where Bouchard was playing.
Plays it back for Bono. Comes to Osorio, tries to head it forward, misjudged it, and it's gone out for a Pittsburgh throw. There's Herzog in the middle looking for Okai. Herzog again with it. A little bit of a high boot there from Osorio. Herzog's gone down. Nothing coming from the official. Pittsburgh has it in their territory. Swanson playing it over for Hunt, and now Merle.
Joe reads it really well there. Comes in, uses his pace, and tackles it out of play.
We have another substitution here for Toronto. Sal Bernal coming in, and Sean Hundle will check out. His day is done after 70 minutes, but his second appearance at the USL level, another strong start for the 16-year-old striker out of the TFC Academy.
A real positive performance from Hundle. He hasn't got his goal, but he's been fantastic. His overall work rate was great, and he's definitely caused the Pittsburgh back 4 problems. Burnell's a little bit different to him. He's a little bit more technical, and he's very good on the ball, and he's the sort of player that'll pick it up in pockets. We might see Johnson moving up to the number 9 position and Burnell going out to the wide right.
That does look like what we're going to see. Bernal also a little bit smaller than Hundle. Hundle listed as 5'11". Sal Bernal listed as just 5'5". Product out of Morelia, Mexico. Went to UNLV and was a 2014 All-American, a 4th-round pick for Toronto in 2015. So he brings some goal-scoring capability to him, but he's also a strong defender, as you mentioned. Schaefer will throw in here for Pittsburgh. We're in the 72nd minute. Nike's a proud partner of the USL. Follow at Nike Soccer on Twitter for all the latest Nike Soccer information. Nike providing the game balls for the USL. You see they look a little bit different this year. White and orange. A little bit of an interesting pattern. They're a sharp-looking ball, though. Bright neon yellow Nike swoosh.
Yeah, these balls you get a little bit more movement on than the ones that we saw last season. Bit of a cheap free kick given away there. TFC don't want to be conceding free kicks in this area. Pittsburgh's a big size, big team, sorry, and it can be dangerous on set pieces.
It will be Jordan Merle standing over this one for the Riverhounds. He spent some time in the TFC Academy earlier in his career. Swung in, Bono punches it out. And I believe the offside flag is up.
Yeah, we see the TFC keeping a high line there on the free kick. Great ball in by Merle. Pittsburgh attackers are a little bit anxious and run in too early. Good delivery from the ex-TFC Academy product.
So you get another look at that free kick. Manella chests that down. Played by Ben Swanson. Looking to loft it forward. Bono, dangerous. Well off the line now. And he's sprung Raheem Edwards up the left flank. Edwards pushing forward. Edwards, good defense there from Isaiah Schaefer. And that was nervous moments for Alex Bono, I'm sure. But he was able to deliver a good ball to Raheem Edwards.
Wow, great ball in behind from the Pittsburgh midfielder. Bono with some real positive goalkeeping there. Takes a few touches, and Michael Bradley whips a great diagonal ball and leads to a Toronto FC corner.
Jason Bent likely had his heart in his throat in that moment. Swung in, and Zavaleta heads it with authority, but it's a few feet wide of the goal.
Toronto FC have looked really dangerous on their set pieces. Edwards' delivery's been fantastic. That's something Jason Bent will be really happy with. I know he works hard at the Kia training ground working on his set pieces.
Brian James taken down there by Ben Swanson, and we'll see the first booking of the match. A caution in the 75th minute goes to Ben Swanson.
Yeah, he's a little bit Pittsburgh a little bit frustrated there after giving the ball away in their own half, and they try to win it back. James does really well to shield the Pittsburgh defender off and earn TFC a free kick and slow the game down.
James will loft that to the right side, looking for Bernal. He is not able to keep that in play. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. It looked like Bernal thought it was going to be more inside his route.
Yeah, not the best TFC set piece there. TFC a little bit too cautious for me, keeping everybody back behind the ball, and only had 2 attackers ahead of the free kick.
That's Bouba Job on that side working against Romeo Parks, the Pittsburgh goal scorer here this afternoon. And you can see it's a noticeable loss for Pittsburgh without their 2 marquee players from a year ago, Rob Vincent and Kevin Kerr.
Yeah, good point, Matt. At times, Pittsburgh have looked a little bit, lacked ideas going forward. They get into this final third area and then a few hopeful balls into the box. Or the one player who has looked dangerous for them is Corey Hershog, and that's a player TFC will need to marshal in the remaining 15 or so minutes.
Fans, don't forget, you can purchase TFC2 season seats. They are on sale now, just $120 per seat for the entire season. You'll get all 14 home games after today. Visit tfc2.ca to secure your tickets. And Terry, we should also mention one more player that Pittsburgh is not having the lineup today is Lebo Moloto, native of South Africa. He scored a goal against Toronto last season. He was their 3rd leading scorer. He's a 2-time national champ at the collegiate level in the States, second-round pick in 2013. So 3 offensive options for Pittsburgh. Those 3 actually combined for 64% of Pittsburgh's goals last season. All 3 not available for Pittsburgh here today.
Matt, if you take any 3 key players out of the team, of course it's going to hurt you. And also, Pittsburgh probably aren't exactly into their stride. This is only their 2nd game of the season, whereas Toronto have played, this is their 3rd. And I'm sure over the season develops, we'll see more from Pittsburgh.
They were a playoff team a year ago in the USL Eastern Conference, and they're certainly looking to repeat that performance. They've got just under 15 minutes plus added time to look for their 2nd equalizer of the game. Toronto ahead 2-1, a goal from Raheem Edwards in the 55th minute on a penalty. Pulled Toronto ahead 2-1. Edwards with a goal and a helper here this afternoon. Good defending here from TFC2, and it's swung out by Zavaleta, met in midfield by Branson. Hunt. Through midfield is Hollingsworth. Now Swanson.
Good possession from Pittsburgh here. They're starting to control the game a little bit, but Jason Bent will be happy with the shape Toronto have at the moment, and they look difficult to break down.
Foul is called there. Sal Bernal a little bit aggressive on the challenge, and Pittsburgh's won another free kick. And nearly everyone from Pittsburgh pushed forward here. 5 currently in the box, another 1, maybe 2 on his way there right now. And the goalkeeper, Hunter Gilstrap, is all the way up, pushed near midfield. In case the ball is swung out quickly by Toronto, he'll be able to be there to mount a quick counterattack. Swung in, Bono goes up, gloves it easily.
A little bit of a disappointing delivery there from Pittsburgh. They're in a great position to try and hurt Toronto FC there, but good goalkeeping from Bono. He looks very sound, his handling today.
And very important for him to get the minutes. He got a lot of the minutes with this club early in the season last year, struggled a little bit. The team in front of him wasn't exceptional, and at times that can reflect poorly on the goalkeeper. But then was sort of outplayed by Quillen Roberts in the second half of the season, and that translated into a good training camp for Q, and he is now the backup behind Clint Irwin with the first team, although I imagine that those 2, Bono and Roberts, will sort of interchange at points this year, and we'll see Quillen Roberts back down here to get some minutes with TFC2.
Yeah, it's never easy for a goalkeeper to be splitting minutes. You want to be playing week in, week out, and get comfortable minutes, know when you're going to be playing. We actually saw that with Toronto FC's first team last year. There was no one goalkeeper who sort of dominated the minutes, and hopefully Bono will continue to get a good run and have a good season with TFC2 and be able to push on.
High hopes for this product of Syracuse, New York. Went to Syracuse University as well, and last season TFC made him a 6th overall selection in the MLS Super Draft.
Yeah, he definitely comes from a good pedigree.
Low hard kick met at midfield. Stephen Okai finds his running mate, Caleb Postlethwaite. Swung out to the right flank for Schaefer. It's Isaiah Schaefer looking for a teammate in the middle, off the bar, and cleared by Hagland. Lucky break there for Toronto. They're not out of it yet, though. There's a strike, and not sure if Bono got a piece of that. It does not look like he did, as the referee will signal for a goal kick, but oh, dangerous moments there from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we're starting to see this possession turn into chances here. Osario's got to do better here. The cross comes in way too easy. Fantastic technique from him to keep it down. Unlucky that it hits the bar. TFC scramble it away. It leads to a second chance here, and he just, as we'll see, and it just misses wide to the right. TFC definitely let off the hook there.
And a defensive reinforcement being brought in by Jason Bent. It will be Robert Boskovic, defender, coming in for Aiden Daniels. Boskovic, another young player, 17-year-old, former academy member, replacing another 17-year-old in Aiden Daniels. More of a defensive-minded midfielder, I think, in this formation for Jason Bent.
Yeah, it looks like Matt TFC might have gone to, they've still got a back four, but they've moved Zavaleta in to sit in front of the back four. Hopefully that'll give them a little bit more security defensively.
Almost acts like a back five.
A little bit. For this Toronto team, they're very good in possession. It's important that they get on the ball and keep it. And in the last 10 minutes, Pittsburgh have dominated play. Edwards
will be cautioned here for interfering with that free kick. So a caution in the 84th minute for Raheem Edwards. And I believe we've seen another substitution here for the Riverhounds as Stephen Okai to the bench. And Karsten Smith, number 3, now in for the Riverhounds.
TFC should be feeling more comfortable, Matt, in this situation now. This is the 3rd game in a row where they've gone into the last 5 minutes with a lead.
Manella pressuring at midfield, taken by Branson. Swung out on the left side. Now Branson again in the middle. Chipped in as Smith offside.
Yeah, we see Matt TFC keep a good line there. They weren't too high. The midfielder for Pittsburgh had time on the ball, which they can't then press forward. Good job from Hangeland and co back there.
5 minutes to go, plus added time. TFC 2 looking for their 2nd victory of the season and looking to remain unbeaten in this young campaign. A win and a draw on the road in Montreal and New York to open up 2016.
Yeah, Matt, if TFC can hold on here, this would be a fantastic scalp against a veteran Pittsburgh team. I know they're missing a couple of their players, but this shows the huge strides that these young TFC players are making to potentially beat a veteran-heavy roster USL team. Something that they struggled with last season.
Branson, now Schaefer. James, pushed up, that's Johnson, working 1v1. Johnson going up against Willie Hunt. Johnson still with it, able to save it. Johnson will now carry to the corner. Will try and win a corner at this point. And I believe he's won a throw for himself.
I think he's won a free kick, Matt.
The Pittsburgh players not happy with that call, to say the least.
A little bit disappointed. Johnson does well to shield the ball and earn himself a free kick. Just a little bit earlier, though, he was one-on-one with his defender. And after seeing his goal in Montreal last week, he was really direct and got at him. But he slowed the play there and allowed the Pittsburgh defenders to get back.
Have to imagine that being in the 87th minute of his day today played a factor. He was in the 1st minute of his performance last week in Montreal during that goal.
Yeah, good point. But again, if you're a defender there one-on-one against probably the quickest player on the pitch, the last thing you want him to do is knock it forward and drop his shoulder at pace. And he gives them a chance by slowing down there.
Now the referee has called back Caleb Postlethwaite, having some words with him. Postlethwaite very vocal of his disappointment with the calls earlier. And the goalkeeper had pushed it forward and he called it back, and now they're going to do it again as the referee not quite set for it, and maybe third time the charm as it is now played forward. A little bit of a slip there for Parks. And Toronto nearly able to take advantage, but Parks recovers, finds Schaefer. Good challenge there from Edwards. He's going to be whistled, however, and it's going to be a free kick to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, probably Edwards didn't need to make that challenge. He was running down a blind alley there, the Pittsburgh winger, and they had him two on one there. I know he's trying to win the ball back for his team, but there he just needs to stay on his feet. And now we see Pittsburgh with a dangerous free kick. He just skips past Edwards there. Edwards, who plays with a lot of heart and tenacity, just gets a little bit over-ambitious and brings him down. It's definitely a free kick, and he puts TFC on the back foot here.
Now the referee and the linesman on this near side having a bit of a long-distance conversation. And it looks like Edwards will have to be held out at the beginning here because the training staff was brought on to attend to him. Maybe that's what Toronto's unhappy about. Jason Bent certainly voicing his opinion. So Toronto will be a man down for this free kick. And that will be vital to their numbers, you would have to imagine. Swung in, headed away by Osorio. And now Edwards is permitted to re-enter play. Pittsburgh with the possession. Parks lifts it from distance. Bono out to punch it. Doesn't get it cleanly. And it's played out by Pittsburgh. And will go for a goal kick. We've seen Bono successful in that situation before, but he just was not able to get it cleanly this time.
Good ball in from Parks. Doesn't come in with a lot of pace. It's on the second phase, which can be so dangerous. The Pittsburgh attacker tries to get across Bono there, but Bono again reads it well. Fantastic punch to clear from danger.
We've reached 90 minutes here. 4 minutes will be added, according to the fourth official. So Toronto FC2 will have to defend 4 minutes more to preserve their second victory of the 2016 USL season.
One big difference I see between this team this year from last year is when they were in this situation a few times last year, there was panic stations. They seem a lot more composed and happy in their units, and they saying to Pittsburgh, okay, come break us down here. And as I say that, commentators curse. Pittsburgh wins a free kick, but
and a yellow card as well for Robert Boskovic.
He's nipped it past him there. It's probably not a bad yellow card there if it doesn't lead to a goal from the free kick.
Toronto making sure to be careful Pittsburgh doesn't play quickly.
Some good one-touch play from Pittsburgh. Just gets in behind Boskovic, and he just uses his shoulder to ease him out of the way, but definitely a free kick. Great opportunity for the ex-TFC Academy product to get one over his old teammates.
Four-man wall for the Young Reds. Boskovic, Zavaleta, Hagelin all in there. Some trickery, and it's in! A late equalizer off the set piece for the Riverhounds. That's Connor Branson. And Pittsburgh has stunned the crowd here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. A little bit of trickery from the Riverhounds with the first player fake.
Good free kick from Pittsburgh. Everyone thought that it was going to be the left footer. The right footer sneaks it into the bottom corner. Bono will be disappointed. It's up to him to stop anything on that side of the net. The wall's doing their job. He gambles thinking it's going to go over, and it's a left footer. Wrong foot, and it goes into the bottom corner.
Well, about 2 minutes played here in added time, and there was 4 to be added, so Toronto will have a couple of minutes to try and get their third go-ahead marker, but they're still defending as it's out for a corner for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, at the moment, Matt, if anyone's going to score, it looks like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's been very impressive in this last 10 minutes.
And once again, a lot of yellow jerseys pushed forward. Only 2 remain outside the 18-yard area, not including the player in the corner who is taking the kick. Looks like Merle. So 7 yellow jerseys pushed forward into the box. Swung in, Bono snatches it out of the air, and TFC2 will attempt a quick counterattack here. Edwards, long ball up the right flank. Bernal trying to run to it. Bernal's got it, 1v1. Bernal waiting for some help. Booba Job is in there. There's Job with it now. Job working to the outside of the box, and it's deflected away by Gilstrap, but an excellent job there by Toronto. Counterattack on that stop of their the corner they were defending, and now they've forced one of their own.
Yeah, fantastic diagonal from Edwards. Goes into Bernal. Bernal plays it just behind Job. Job does well to win the team a corner. Can one TFC player step up and be the hero now?
Maybe a foot forward, and that ball's on a tee for Booba Job. Edwards swings it in, off a couple of heads, and now cleared, but Booba Job is there to maintain the Toronto possession. He lofts it in. It's punched away. There's Boskovic. Oh, and saved just off the line. That was marked for the corner of the goal, and the Pittsburgh defender knocks it the other way. And now here come the Riverhounds. Here's Parks. Great save by Bono. And Bono will roll it out himself and have an opportunity here for TFC2. It's end-to-end action and injury time here at the Ontario Soccer Centre.
What an exciting finish, Matt. TFC look like they're going to score the winner. Great clearance from the line, and then all of a sudden Bono's got to come up big at the other end.
What a finish here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. That's the final whistle, and we'll get another look at what just happened.
Great deep cross from Job. Keeper comes well, gets a hand up. Boskovic composed, slides it into the bottom corner. Defender does fantastic to block it on the line. TFC do well, are now all of a sudden on the back foot. Bono comes out well, closes the angle down, and stops a Pittsburgh attacker from scoring.
Wow, what a fantastic, in hockey you'd call that end-to-end action.
Really,
in soccer you rarely see that back and forth at that pace.
You don't very often, and you see what the 3 points mean to both teams. Fantastic entertainment for the crowd here, and unfortunately TFC weren't able to hold on to their lead going in, and all square here.
So reset a little bit. Let's back out of this wild 4-minute injury time. Toronto concedes in the second minute of injury time, so they don't get the 3 points. They will get the 1 point in their home opener here, but much like New York, it's a lot later in the game, but having that advantage slip away, they have the point, but there will be a little bit of disappointment, I have to imagine.
Yes, Matt, there'll be some heads down in the changing room. I think overall they'll be very happy with their performance. For the most part, they were on top for probably 80 minutes of the game. They just couldn't hold on, and Pittsburgh did well. There's a great goal.
We're going to show you all 4 goals from the game here this afternoon. That's Nick Hagelin opening the scoring for TFC back in the 12th minute. It was a response from Pittsburgh. Parks in the 41st minute, so that drew things level just before halftime. Raheem Edwards pulled down in the area in the 55th minute and converts his own penalty to pull Toronto ahead, and matching backflip celebrations. And then some trickery from the Riverhounds on the free kick just outside the box, and it's Connor Branson scoring his first goal of the season for the Riverhounds. So An exciting day here at the Ontario Soccer Centre. The sold-out crowd of 1,200 at the OSC are treated to an absolute delight in the home opener. First of 14 that we will bring for you here from the OSC. TFC2, maybe not the most happy with the result, but they do pull away a point in their home opener. They remain undefeated on the season. For Chantal Blais, Terry Dunfield, and all of our production crew, I'm Matt DiNicolantonio. Thanks for joining us. Have an excellent Sunday night.
Fans, as a proud sponsor of Toronto FC, Maestro Watches would like to present the man of the match with an exclusive engraved Maestro watch for his achievement. Please direct your attention to center field and welcome Fabio as he presents an exclusive engraved Maestro watch to number 48, Raheem Edwards.